Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Journals. Welcome back to my channel. I have a Junk Journal with Me episode working in my reading journal. The book that I'm documenting today is The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. And I've just got my scrapbox and a couple of ephemera pieces that I thought I would use to decorate this page. I also printed off the book cover. And for this page, what I wanted to do to decorate it was grab a dictionary book page. So I thought that was fitting. And I have a vintage dictionary that was, I believe it was my grandpa's. And I've been using pages ever since I first discovered junk journals. I've been, ripping up pages, using them as pages in journals, but also using them for collages and things like that. So here are some scraps from that dictionary. And I'm just going to look through these pieces and find one that I think will fit for this page. I also have a book that I cut out from some tissue paper from the Your Creative Studio subscription box. And the other ephemera piece I have is, I think it's like a little label piece, but at the bottom of that label there is a feather quill. So I thought that was also fitting for this page, books, writing, words, book page, dictionary page. So that's how that all ties in. And as I put this page spread together, let me share my thoughts on this book, and I hope you enjoy this video. So how I read this book was a library book, and I read it because I heard from multiple people that it was good. So I have always seen it around whenever I go to bookshops. It's often one of those books that's displayed in the bestseller list or the top 10 or top 20 books to read, or most popular books. So I've always seen it around and wanted to read it. And finally, I read it back in May, June. And it was a really lovely, sweet, cozy type of read. I was hoping for a page turner. It wasn't a page turner for me, just because it was quite it was a slow read, but usually when I say slow read, it's boring and not interesting. This one, it was slow more because it was a just really cozy, sweet, comfort type of story. So you could really, take your time with it and really settle into that world. It definitely did transport me into this world. Again, like a really cozy world of this girl growing up, and her father works for this like the dictionary. They're putting this dictionary together, and it's about the people working together, looking at words and finding definitions. And I was definitely fully in that world. And they put this dictionary together in like a shed. So I was definitely there with them in that shed. So that was good, very good, construction of the world, so that I was there, I could see it, I could feel it, and I was there. But it was a bit of a slower read. And at the beginning, it didn't quite grab me. But the thing with this book was I enjoyed being in that world. It was an enjoyable world to be in. It wasn't thrilling, it wasn't a page turner kind of world, but it was cozy and sweet and a really enjoyable world to be in. Sort of charming, sort of quaint, that kind of thing. I do have to say that I was a little bit confused throughout the book because I wasn't sure where it was kind of going. There was no, for me anyway, clear direction it was going, because I thought it was about the girl and her life and her growing up, and we'd really get to know this girl, her character, and it would be very character driven, and we get to know her thoughts and things. But what I realized through the book was actually she's sort of secondary to the story. It's more about the dictionary and how the dictionary came together, and more about, it's kind of like 3 stories in one. And I guess that's a bit why I got confused, because I'm trying to follow I was drawn into the story of the girl and wanted to know about her, but it kept going back to the dictionary, and it kept going back to the third thread, which was the women's movement, like the women's rights movement, and all three of these things were interesting stories. I guess that, I was more, my focus was on, I just want to know about this girl and how she grows up. And I didn't realize it would kind of skim parts of it. Like we spent a lot of time with her as a child, but then we do skim quite a few years and things through her life, where I was wanting a bit more detail. I was wanting to know more about her character and what she was thinking and feeling, that kind of thing. And you do get a lot of that. But some of the years just kind of fly by, especially at the end. It sort of skimmed a lot of things. And that's, it was sort of near the end where I realised, oh, okay, that's why they skimmed through her life, because this was more about the dictionary and this was more about women's rights and the women's rights movement and that kind of thing. I guess it's kind of like a historical fiction book. Like a lot of the stuff written in this book was based on actual reality. I'm not quite sure where the lines were with fiction versus non-fiction, but you could definitely read up about that. Like every now and then I would Google about this book and realize, so that was actually true, and that thing actually happened, and that's actually how that worked out. And so that was quite fascinating. I guess this is like one of the very first books I've read in terms of that kind of historical fiction type of style. So I wasn't quite used to that. But overall I found it like a very relaxing book to read, a relaxing world to be in. I enjoyed the writing style. It was, that quite kind of charming, quaint, a very specific style of writing with the use of words, the use of how the sentences were constructed. That was quite, for me, interesting. But I also did find it kind of created a bit of distance too, because it was more about the words and how the words were put together. That kind of created a bit of space between me and the character, because I was more focused on, how was that sentence written? It was an unusual way of putting that sentence. It was lovely. It was a lovely way of writing that sentence, but it was unusual to my ear. A lot of that focus on the language, I guess, pulled me out, so I couldn't be right with that character. But I don't know. It was I'm a bit confused about it, about this book. There were things I really enjoyed, but there were also things that created a bit of distance and a bit of confusion for me. But definitely, I'm glad I read it. I would give it a go. Like, I would recommend it, I guess, for a different style of book to be exposed to. I was glad to be exposed to this different writing style and this different type of genre, I guess, of historical fiction. I don't even know if that's what you'd call it, historical fiction, but that's because that's not a world that I have ventured into. I guess that play between what was fiction and non-fiction, that was, took a bit getting used to. I guess because with historical fiction, maybe characters sometimes can become secondary to the plot, secondary to the history. I don't know. I liked it, and there were some parts that I sort of struggled with, but in a good way, if that makes sense. So that's why it's a bit confusing to me, this book. Really lovely. Some parts, I did find it was a bit of a slog to get through, but other parts I was happy just to be in that world, happy just to let the world kind of wash over me, and really, really nice with that world. So I don't know, if you've read this book, let me know what you thought of it. If you're into historical fiction, I can definitely see you liking this. And if you're into words and interested in that kind of thing, I can see how this book would be good for that as well. I guess I'm kind of learning, maybe I'm a character-based reader. Like, my favourite books in terms of page turns, I love a good thrilling read, not scary or anything, but like a book where I'm just like, quick, I want to find out what happens next. So I'm not sure what type of book that is, whether it's character-based or whether that's more plot-based, like a quick, fast-paced plot. I'm not sure, but the books that really emotionally get me drawn in are the ones, I guess, where I really do connect with the main characters. And if I don't like the characters, or if I don't care about the characters, then it's hard for me to really care about the book, like, and love the book. And I guess it's something that I've discovered this year, because I've read very widely for my own self this year across different genres, different writing styles, and I've discovered, there's been quite a few, like, all of them I've been mostly glad to read, but most of them I haven't actually loved. I haven't really connected with the book. And I think that's because of the characters. There's all of these books, most of these books that I've read this year, I haven't really cared about the main characters, really. So yeah, that's been really interesting. I guess I'm learning about myself as I'm reading these books, like learning what I am drawn to, learning what I love. And even if that's all I learn from this is learning about myself through book reading, that's so good. If you can learn about life, if you can learn about anything, learn about writing, learn about yourself as a writer, as an author, learn about yourself as a reader, as a person, as a thinker, as a liver. I think that's such a benefit to reading. I love reading for entertainment, but I also love reading for what you can learn from it. So those are my rambling thoughts about this book and what I got out of it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to journal your life, because your stories matter. Bye, guys. Thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in September. I could not do this without you, so thank you so much for allowing me to create and share videos for yet another month. If you'd like to become a patron in October, the link will be below in the description box. That's where you get access to behind the scenes looks, sneak peeks, first access to my journals. At the Ruby level, you get all printables from my Etsy shop. Emerald level, you get extra printables, and then there are some mail tiers as well. I'm also running my courses, my journaling courses, again in October, so feel free to sign up for any of those. Just send me an email and check all the links in the description box below for ways to contact me and be part of the world of Willow Bound Journals.